In this video, we're going to show you to install the ball joint on your Ford Focus located on the lower control arm. Using our 19mm socket, we're going to loosen and remove the lug nuts. Grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. Let's go ahead and use a 32mm socket, loosen and remove the axle nut. Now I'm going to use a punch, and I'm going to tap in the center of the axle to make sure that the splines are free from the hub. You can see that that's moving. Go ahead, reach around and grab that axle and make sure that it's free floating. Now if yours is stuck, go ahead and spray it down with some rust penetrant and keep on working that until it's free. Now on the outside here, I'm going to go ahead and use my punch here, and I'm going to go ahead and tap the axle through a bit. Just want to make sure we have some flexibility there. Now with the wheel removed, I want to go ahead and we want to start by removing our pinch bolt here. Now there's a 15mm nut. We went ahead and soaked it down with some rust penetrant. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove this nut. Now I'm going to use my hammer. I'm going to strike the ball joint and try and pop it up and in. And the purpose of this here is I'm hoping to shock this bolt a little bit so that it comes out a little bit easier. Now at this point here, we want to go ahead and remove our brake caliper. We're going to use our 14mm socket to loosen and remove the two bolts, this one here and this one here, in order to swing this out of the way. Now the reason why I want to do that is that we need to go ahead and access the pinch bolt right here. And the amount of clearance here, you can't really get the socket in there with your ratchet without it hitting the caliper. Now in doing this here, your brake pads might shift, they might even pop out. So be prepared to capture those if they do. Good, swing that over, set that up on top. Now because we're going to be hammering away on this here, we don't want our brake pads to fall out. So we're going to just go ahead and grab these here, slide them out of the brackets, remove these, set them aside. Now we're going to use a T50 Torx bit on our bolt head here. And we want to go ahead and try and spin this here. And it doesn't want to come out. And we don't want to strip that. So what we're going to work on is continue to spray this down, and we're probably going to use our impact hammer on the other side of the bolt to drive this through. All right, we're able to get that to move. Now at this point here, with most of that loose, we're just going to use a punch on the other side here and tap that out. Now we're doing this instead of hitting the end here because we don't want to damage this bolt. We're going to be reusing this bolt. So if you hit it in the center here, you're not going to damage those threads. Now we have our rivets here holding our ball joint into the control arm. We're going to use a cutting wheel, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut cross marks into the rivet head and then use our air chisel and knock those off. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses and gloves when doing this job. Now we're going to use our air chisel with a little wedge on here, a little cutting tip, and we're going to go ahead and knock these heads off. Now at this point here, we're flush cut. We're going to go ahead and use our little tip here and drive those rivets through. Now at this point, I want to go ahead and we're going to try and knock our ball joint out of our control arm, and it's going to come out with our knuckle. That's why we remove the nut on our CV axle here. Now we're just going to go ahead and come on in here and tap this out. Now with the knuckle cranked out a little bit, gives us better access to the back side of our ball joint here. Now there's a little tin shield here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to fold this down a little bit, and we're going to use our chisel tip here to get in here. And basically what we want to do is we want to open this up. So put this in here, tap it in. Let's go ahead and remove this shield. And we're going to reuse this here. So all we're going to do is roll this back over a little bit, like so. Now at this point here, we're going to go ahead and remove our chisel tip here. We're going to use a bristle brush here, or a bore brush, to go ahead and clean out inside the knuckle port. Go ahead and clean that out, and then just check the inside and make sure there's no burrs or any scaly rust inside there. Now after we clean this here, go ahead and check the inside of the control arm itself. You can use a bristle brush on the inside. And just do a visual inspection, make sure everything is clean on the inside. We're going to put a little bit of grease on the inside here. Now we put some grease on our ball joint here on the flange to go into the control arm. Let's slide this up into place. Now we're going to install our little shield here. Slide that over. Pop that up into place. There it is. Put some anti-seize compound on our bolt. I'm going to go ahead and tap that in. I'll get the nut started on the bolt. We're going to use a 16 millimeter box wrench to hold the bolt and a 17 mil on the nut side. Now I want to go ahead and tighten down our pinch bolt. We're going to use a 13 millimeter box wrench on the bolt side and a 15 mil on the nut side. Let's torque our lower nuts here to 50 foot-pounds. And we're going to torque our pinch bolt to 46 foot-pounds. Before we install our brake caliper, go ahead and spray it down. You want to clean it. Make sure you get any debris or any grease off of that brake rotor. Installing the brake pads. When we removed our brake pads, the outboard pad had the squeak tab on it and it was positioned at the top. Go ahead and get these installed. Once you have those in place, go ahead and grab your brake caliper, swing that up and over, and go ahead and work that over those brake pads. Now sometimes if you have a hard time getting the caliper on here and that piston is kind of stuck a little bit, go ahead and use your 10 millimeter wrench, crack open that bleeder screw, and you're going to put a bucket or something underneath or a towel, and you're just going to catch some of that residual brake fluid, but just kind of work that a little bit, and you might lose a little bit of fluid getting this to line up, pushing that piston in. Just gently snug these down. Now, if you did crack open that bleeder screw to get that caliper wiggled on, don't forget, go ahead and spray that down with some spray solvent. Clean up any of that residual brake fluid that might have dribbled out. I was going to torque down these bolts to 21 foot-pounds. Now at this point here, we're going to go ahead and install that axle nut. Install the axle nut. And let's go ahead and run that down. Now I want to go ahead and torque down our axle nut. And you have a couple different ways you can do this. You can have someone hop into the vehicle, apply the brakes so that it locks that rotor in place, and then torque it down. Or you can take a screwdriver or something similar and go ahead and put it in here so it comes up against the caliper bracket. That'll lock it into place. Let's go ahead and torque this down to 199 foot-pounds. Now that we have everything torqued into position, go ahead and repeat this process for the other side. Install your wheels, bring it down to your local alignment shop, and then take it for a road test. Grab the wheel, good, line up the wheel studs. Let's go ahead and install the lug nuts. Ideally, you want to get all these started by hand first. Then we'll go ahead and snug them down. When tightening these down, you want to go ahead and do it in a crisscross pattern. Now let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 94 foot-pounds. Prefer to do this in a crisscross pattern. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.